Before there was form, before there was structure, before there was anything visible, there was only God and His Word. When you study the beginning of creation, you'll notice something powerful. God did not engage in struggle. He did not wrestle with darkness. He did not negotiate with chaos. He spoke, "Let there be light," and instantly what was invisible became visible. This reveals a kingdom pattern. Words precede manifestation. Creation was voice-activated. Now here is where it becomes personal. If you are created in the image of God, then your design reflects His nature. That means your words are not casual. They are carriers of creative force. Most people speak as if words are temporary, but in the spirit realm, words are permanent until replaced. God showed us from the beginning, if you want to change what you see, you must first change what you say. You were designed to speak, not just observe. Many people live their entire lives reacting. They wake up and describe their circumstances. This is going wrong. I don't have enough. Nothing is changing. But here's the problem. If you only describe reality, you will remain bound to it. Observers repeat cycles. Creators interrupt them. God never called you to be a reporter of your situation. He called you to be a transformer of it. When you constantly speak what is, you reinforce it. But when you speak what should be, you begin to shift it. This is why two people can face the same situation, but produce completely different outcomes. One speaks defeat, the other speaks victory, and over time, their words shape their experience. Faith speaks before it sees. Faith is often misunderstood. People think faith is a feeling or a quiet belief, but true faith is active and it is vocal. Faith does not wait for confirmation. Faith creates alignment before manifestation appears. Imagine standing in a situation that contradicts everything you're believing for, and still declaring, "It is already done." That's faith, not because you're ignoring reality, but because you understand a higher reality. Faith says, "I don't deny what I see, but I refuse to let it define what I say, because what you say consistently will eventually override what you see temporarily." The invisible response to your words. There is a spiritual system operating beyond your senses. Just because you can't see it does not mean it's inactive. Think about this. Sound travels, waves move, frequencies shift environments. Now take that into the spiritual dimension. Your words release spiritual signals. When you speak fear repeatedly, you create agreement with limitation. When you speak doubt, you reinforce delay. But when you speak in faith, you send a different signal, one that aligns with heaven's authority, and heaven responds to agreement. Your words can build or destroy your future. Your life today is a reflection of seeds planted yesterday, and many of those seeds were words. Words spoken in frustration, words spoken in doubt, words spoken casually without awareness. "I'll never get out of this. Things never work for me. I'm always struggling." Those statements don't just express emotion, they establish direction, because the more you speak something, the more you believe it, and the more you believe it, the more you act in alignment with it. But the opposite is also true. When you begin to speak life, even before you feel it, you start to reprogram your direction. Abraham, calling what wasn't. Abraham is one of the clearest examples of this law. God gave him a promise that made no sense in the natural. He was old, his wife was barren, there was no physical evidence, yet God changed his name from Abram to Abraham, which means father of many nations. Now think about that. Every time he introduced himself, he was declaring something that didn't exist yet. "I am Abraham," meaning, I am a father of many nations, even when he had no child. That's the kingdom principle in action. You speak the promise before you possess it. Jesus speaking to reality. Jesus never waited for conditions to improve, he spoke directly to them. When there was a storm, he didn't panic, he spoke peace. When there was sickness, he didn't analyze, he spoke healing. When there was lack, he didn't complain, he gave thanks and multiplied. Why? Because he operated from authority. He understood that creation responds to command. And here's the key. He did not speak based on what he saw. He spoke based on who he was. You must align your words with God's word. Now this is where many people miss it. They try to speak things into existence, but without alignment, kingdom speech is not about saying anything you want. It's about agreeing with what God has already spoken, because power flows through agreement, not imagination alone. So instead of saying, "I hope things get better," you declare, "God is my provider. I lack nothing." Instead of saying, "I'm overwhelmed," you declare, "I have peace that surpasses understanding." When your words echo heaven, heaven backs your words. Stop speaking what you feel. Feelings fluctuate. They rise and fall. They respond to circumstances, but truth remains constant. If you build your speech on feelings, your words will be unstable. One day you speak faith, the next day you speak fear, but when your words are anchored in truth, they remain steady, even in storms, even in uncertainty, even in delay. Maturity in the kingdom is learning to speak truth regardless of how you feel. Your environment responds to your confession. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt heaviness or peace? Atmospheres are real, and they are influenced by what is consistently spoken. If your environment is filled with negativity, complaints, fear, or doubt, that atmosphere becomes heavy. But when you shift your words, you shift the environment. Speak life long enough, and the atmosphere will change. Silence can cost you. This may surprise you, but saying nothing can be just as limiting as saying the wrong thing. God has given you authority, but authority must be exercised. Imagine having power, but never using it. Opportunities pass, situations remain unchanged, not because God didn't move, but because you didn't speak. There are moments where silence is wisdom, but there are also moments where silence is disobedience. Daily practice, speak before you see. This is where transformation happens, not in a moment, but in consistency. Every day you must align your words. When you wake up, speak life. When challenges arise, speak faith. When doubt appears, speak truth, because repetition builds belief, and belief produces manifestation. You have been speaking, but now you will speak differently. No more careless words, no more agreement with limitation, no more reinforcing what God is trying to change. From this moment forward, your words will align with heaven, because your future is waiting on your voice. If you receive this message, declare it boldly. I speak before I see. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to activate their faith today. Thank you for watching. If this teaching blessed you, give it a like, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs encouragement. Subscribe for more biblical truth and faith-building messages. This is Kingdom Pattern.